Hello and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League, Season 12, Week 5. With me here today is not Ocelot.
It's not.
Very unfortunate. I guess that's what we get. I mean, he's not dead this time, it's just a scheduling thing.
Yeah.
You might
It's life.
see makeup game with just me and him later in this week, as a result. But Randy gets really touchy when I do that, so maybe
Recording
not.
this at a nice brisk 5 a.m.
Yeah. It's the best time to do it.
Yeah.
Today we're looking at GG's versus Nagaz with Attitude. So there you go, London. Now you don't have to ask me for it every day.
10 seconds remaining.
London.
5 seconds.
Maybe
remaining.
not here.
Team
I mean, he could be one of these guys, but Wizard I noticed picking heroes right now. Immediately,
Yeah,
Naga's immediately getting rid of the Bane. They know the sort of power Wizard has on that hero. He's played it to great success in this tournament.
Yeah.
Bane, I feel like maybe you're gonna start seeing a little more as the time goes on. Maybe. A lot of the 5 seem to be pretty good with him, and he's certainly not in a bad spot right now. I mean, it's all about CC for the supports right now, it feels like. Get rid of the Viper and the OD. Clockwork on the other hand. Tennyson seems to play almost vast majority Clockwork, so no surprise getting rid of him there. It's very interesting. It's like, Wizard, he plays a really good Bane. PVC Pipe actually plays a really good Bane as well.
Yeah, he does.
So, if you're in this league and you can also play Bane 5, maybe give him a shot, maybe give him a try, maybe give him a thought, Doesn't hurt. Never hurts. First pick Phoenix for the GGs. We've seen a little bit of this before.
Yeah, it's always a classic.
I will say, I feel like a first pick Phoenix is a very risky sort of endeavor. So a lot of guys that can really screw over Phoenix. I think maybe if you look at it on the broad side of things, Phoenix you could maybe say is the most counterable hero in the game. Like,
yes.
If you can get rid of the fire spirits, if you can get rid of his ability to dive, if you can get rid of the sun, if you can ignore his sun ray, if you can ignore the fire spirits, there's a lot of if you cans with Phoenix,
Yep.
So if you pick him early, you are picking him in a very dangerous spot. And if the old burning chicken gets to do everything he wants, on the other hand, Phoenix can be very, very powerful. But
yeah.
First pick, a little bit less likely you're going to be seeing that. Jakiro, actually.
Alright.
Pretty decent, Timber saw. I like a good Timber. Like me a good Timber. X3, I was looking for a good Timber saw replay. Maybe Luke's this game going to be showing us a little bit of that.
Maybe. We'll see.
10 seconds remaining.
The only issue with Timber right now is that he feels like he needs like 10 slots, just his numbers are a little low.
Yeah.
But certainly when we were talking about, heroes that can ignore the sunray, heroes that don't care about the fire spirits and all that, that's certainly one of them. He can also give chase to Timber through the dive, or through the Timber. He can give chase to the Phoenix through the dive. Jack as well, actually. Not a bad thing to pull out against the Phoenix. Witch Doctor here.
Alright.
We saw this all the way back in the first round, I believe. Trying to make a big thing of the old sun here. They're going to need to ban intelligently around it. You can't have a Troll Warlord or an Ursa in a matchup against Phoenix here, or he is screwed.
Or Snapfire.
Snapfire as well, yeah. Snapfire can insta kill the sun.
A level 1, yeah.
I am the Juggernaut. I will not be present in this game.
Jug is a good counter to Phoenix. He just spins to get rid of all his crap and then beats him down.
Yep. And on top of that, we have seen Manifest Destiny, who I will not be calling that, play Jug through the tournament as well. So no surprise there. Draw Ranger, being a bit of a stranger here, not being present.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I feel like at this juncture, I feel like a draw pick is more likely for Nagaz than with the GGs, to be honest with you, but if that's what you don't want to see, that's what you don't want to see. GG's getting rid of this Ricky.
That pause one Ricky.
Ever
Famed
since
pause one Ricky.
Ever since Manifest Destiny played Ricky once, everybody's been banning it against
Yeah.
Nagaz every round. It's like, I feel like it's almost like dunking on them or something. Like, Lamau, you guys picked Ricky.
Maybe.
Because I can't say in good faith that Ricky is ever a good ban, to be honest with you. If Phoenix is the most counterable hero in the game, Ricky has to be second place.
5 seconds remaining.
Slark getting knocked out here.
Dire team ban.
Nobody Timbersaw hates seeing than the old Slark, though nobody Slark hates seeing more than Timbersaw. It's a weird little matchup. Probably got rid of him for a upcoming pick, in fairness. Got rid of the Clinks here. I will say I feel like Timbersaw and Jakiro can easily take care of a Slark in combination, though, so
Yes.
I don't know if I would have gone for the ban there. Magnus getting knocked out here. Again, likely for an upcoming pick.
10 seconds remaining.
It's me, by the way. I'm pretty sure Luke's here is going to be the first Timber of the tournament.
Wow.
Unless Gotham is playing a very wacky pause 4 Timbersaw.
Pause 4 Timber. Pause 2 Timber.
Oh no, don't even say that. You know, I hate to talk de poo-poo about somebody who is not present to defend themselves, but you know Kid Dynamite actually unironically likes pause 2 Timbersaw.
Oh. Alright, well, there you go. I mean,
Ugh.
anything can work. What can I tell you?
Well, I was going to say he's not going to be here this week. He is going to be here this week, actually, because he's playing stand-in for, I believe he is standing in for Godlike Matt on Aya Del Rey. Visage.
Alright, Visage.
The last time we saw Visage, the nice way to describe it would be unmitigated disaster. Let's see if,
it's not a Visage red.
Probably
That'd be a
not.
little strange.
Be a very early time to pick it, though. I believe it was a very early Visage pick mid when
Sure.
when Baby Schlark ran it. No, it wasn't Baby Schlark. It was Lanaya.
Radiant team pick.
Anti-mage.
Alright.
The non-mage,
That's a rather deadly pick.
especially
Right now.
against all these guys so far. Though picking him early like this does mean that you are going to have the free thought to pick any mid or pause one that can deal with him.
5 seconds
Has
remaining.
Anti-Mage lost a game in this tournament yet?
He hasn't been
I don't think
picked
he
many
has.
times, but no, he's got a 100% win rate. I think
Yeah.
the only games that Drow has lost as well. Drow's probably the
Yeah,
second
that's
most
true.
successful by weight because the only games that Drow has lost are Team Spirit games, and I guess those are more or less scrubbed out of the record now.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Dire team pick.
Alright.
I still think Pebcak should sign in as a stand-in on this tournament, but that's just me. Pebcak, if you're out
Radiant
there,
team ban. Phantom assassin.
it's a weird match for you to be watching because you got no stake in it.
Yeah.
PA, if we're talking about heroes that do have something to say against Anti-Mage, PA actually is one of them. It's going to scale come online way faster than Anti-Mage and be something that's hard for him to deal with for a very long time.
5 seconds
Also, it
remaining.
fills up one of those crucial slots with an MKB, and as I'm
Yep.
sure Randy can tell you, that's something you don't want to do unless you absolutely have to.
Right.
By the way, if you're wondering about the reserve time for the GGs, I actually took a reserve time penalty for this game.
Team ban.
Wow. That's
So
a
that's
shame.
why
Got here late.
that's why we're looking at this a little bit. I will say I feel like there is one team that I feel like maybe should be at least slightly exempted from the reserve time thing. It is probably the GGs because there's so much scheduling for Kakta to
Yeah.
deal with the GGs. I feel like it's a little unfair to put that sort of on them. Like I understand a reserve time penalty if it's like going to be really late, but I mean if you don't want to wait, reschedule. You know what I'm saying? You know the Zeus and the Huskar here. Very interesting. Looking very clearly at Digpicks here. They're clearly thinking too. I believe we've seen a little bit of Didge on Zeus up to this point. I don't think we've seen Huskar. I believe the sole pick for Huskar has been on Lich Out My Money so far.
Yeah.
And no Storm Spirit! So I won't be doing that stupid voice this game, sorry to say. In fact, I doubt I'll be doing any stupid voices so far. Maybe Timbersaw, actually.
Radiant team pick.
Getting rid of the TA. No TA for me, eh? Actually, I feel like that might be a really big missed opportunity for Nagaz. I think TA actually would have been really good for them here.
10 seconds remaining.
I guess. I
5
think there's a
seconds
lot
remaining.
of answers
Yeah,
to TA on
There's
GG's.
a lot of answers to her shield, but there's a lot of answers to anything else she's got. Like Psyblades really screw up anti-mage. They're a really good cure for him. Bringing in the London Kunkka again.
Yeah.
The only issue with TA on Nagaz would be dealing with Phoenix, but I feel like they really at this point have well more than enough to deal with the guy.
10 seconds.
And with
remaining.
Visage being able to set up for her pretty easily by making a big old
5
stun zone
seconds
right where
remaining.
she's throwing Sideblades, I feel like, yeah, bit of a missed opportunity there, to be honest with you. This is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like, no, even Sniper, because, you know, Anti-Mage can just blink right into his face, but I mean, if
Yes.
Anti-Mage is doing that, then he's not dealing with PA. You can easily just kind of close in and, you know, put the jaws around him. So I'll stand by it. This is gonna sound crazy. I think Nagaz needs a Sniper. He's the only guy left at mid who's really just all about raw fizz damage, raw right-click power, and I think that's really what they need here, to be honest with you. They got all the magic damage in the world. They got all the AoE in the world. They got all the CC they would ever need. CC and slow. They got a Windrunner. Okay, that works too.
It's not
Could
great
be.
against anti-mage.
Yeah, it's going to be a little less consistent, and it's going to give the problem that if Anti-Mage ends up with the old Spell Reflect, she's going to be in a bit of trouble. There is nothing in this world worse than trying to ult Anti-Mage and getting counterspelled.
Or trying to shackle him and getting counterspelled. Pretty bad.
The ult's worse, I think. Anti-Mage just hits you
Yeah.
1,000 times a second. That is bad news. But until that point, that is going to be a while into it, she is going to have the ability to bring some physical pain on.
I mean, it's like you basically have to do that to yourself because anti-mage can't time his reflect to your focus fire. You have to focus fire on him while he has reflect up. So it's kind of your mistake.
Right.
Not really an anti-mage play. Or a shackle can
But you
just be
can't predict
reflected
it.
back to you constantly.
I think you can predict when you're about to get focus fire to a degree.
I guess, but it's just as easy to not just, you know, press your old Hulk key.
Right. So it's an issue of being tricky with it. Windrunner has to be a little tricky with it. Though she can't be so tricky with it that she just doesn't end up being able to use it at all, you know? Neat little Visage skin here. Another one of these weird Mesoamerican skins. I wonder why there's so many of these. There had to be like... I had to have slept through some weird like holiday event that that gives you these weird Mesoamerican skills. I am on free cam. There we go.
Sure was the theme of some some random TI, because I know the theme of TI a couple years ago was like weird underwater vibe.
Yeah, maybe. Some triumphant squawk.
Magic is an abomination.
It sure
Anti-Mage
is,
bringing all the radio commentary for us here. Well, I'll
Yeah.
say this. This is going to be of absolutely no shock to anybody at home. Nagaz for sure is going to have to close early on this one, I think.
yes.
PA does not outscale Anti-Mage by any stretch of the imagination. They're going to have to, at the very least, completely dominate the early game to knock him out of the affairs. And we have seen how difficult that can be with this Devirus Anti-Mage, right?
Yep.
Windrunner, skills at about the same level as Kunkka, though while Kunkka has a lot to say about everybody on a team, Windrunner has a lot to say about one person in particular, basically. Which is good against this lineup in theory, but, you know, again, there's going to be a little issue trying to consistently, reliably knock out the anti-mage there. Get a bit of an invasion here of the NWA at the runes here, though.
Oh boy. Phoenix.
Oh, heat wave. Phoenix going down, first blood to old Gotham. That make a big mess indeed.
Soul Assumption's a bit painful.
Bit of a, you know, a little bit of a pain in the start there, though nothing too serious. That is their, looks like it's going to be 4 here. Heat wave on 4, I believe.
Yeah.
So, let's do the rundown here. Anti-Mage, pause 1, Devirus. Pause 2, captain of the team, London, who is an Iranian Smurf. Pause 3, former winner, Passkey. Pause 4, Heatwave on the Phoenix. By the way, Passkey on Sand King. Pause 5, looks like is Wizard. Ouch.
Oh god, Soul Assumption hurts.
I believe, oh, we got a courier kill there. I believe Heatwave is Tennyson. I believe Tennyson has won in the past as well. So on to the Nagaz with Attitude. Timbersaw getting really beat up down here. Really low health. On the Nagaz with Attitude, we have Manifest Destiny. Pause 1 as the PA. I'm sorry, I refuse to use your new name, man. it's not good. PA actually still getting some lasts under the Phoenix. Speaking of which, PA actually has a lot to do with the Phoenix here. Has a lot of counters to him. He can almost write Phoenix off in the long because of it. Can dagger to ignore the fire spirits, can blink to chase, and can just eat the sun. So that's not good. Pause 2, we got Dig on the Windrunner. Pause 3, we got Luke's on the Timbersaw. One of the more recognizable, I think, pause 3s in the league. Pause 4, we got Team Captain Gotham. And pause 5, we've got Peaches as traditional on Jakiro, Gotham on the Visage, forgot to mention. So as I was saying before we start the calls, yeah, they're going to have a big problem here. I think the NWA if they let this go on long. They're going to be able to take one person out, but they're going to have a bit of an issue doing much more than that, basically. You know, knock out one guy, and then, you know, either Anti-Mage or Kunkka gets to run right over you, and that's no good. So to that end, they have to dominate early. They have to come in early. Have to pray to a degree. I think one big thing is they're going to be needing to definitely build around the sort of Sanking to some degree. Phoenix is just not going to play a factor here, unfortunately for Phoenix. Unless conditions go really well for them, poor Phoenix is not going to get much done. They have to do so much to get the sun to actually pop, basically. So they can take some advantage of that in the early fights, you know. Especially with the Timbersaw there, because, you know, Timbersaw doesn't care even if everything goes wrong. He will not have much mana to use, but...
They do have a lot of fucking AoE stun. It's like... Kunkka plus Witchdoctor plus Sand King, I think, can defend a sun really well.
They can point guard, but problem is that almost assuredly with this lineup, you're going to see a fairly early PA/BKB, and when you get that fairly early PA/BKB, it's not happening anymore.
That's true. This first few suns gotta mean something then.
Yeah. And even then, they do have to drop.
Quick, pop your soul ring.
Luke's about to die. Yep.
Yep.
Did he pop his soul ring before he went down? Nope,
No.
Sadly. Oh, Anti-Mage, though,
instead,
actually going down in response to a soul assumption. Anti-Mage made a very bad assumption, and Gotham was able to capitalize on it. Even with the first few suns, there is still going to be the Timbersaw issue they're going to have to deal with. Post-sun. You know, he has a lot to say about it. Anti-Mage, unfortunately for him, is going to have to not only be present in the first few fights, whether he wants to or not, he's also going to have to be focusing Timber a lot more than he would really want to as well. Because if he doesn't, Timber's going to walk all over them the first two fights. Though,
Yes.
Timber's not gonna be a problem if he just dies again. Oh!
Alright.
Counter spell. Very last second there.
So I guess, does counterspell not work on Soul Assumption because AM doesn't have the thing?
Yeah.
The damage thing? That's really weird.
Seems to,
It's a
yeah.
weird interaction.
It's good for old Gotham here. It's good for Visage, certainly. Visage actually going to be a big problem for Anti-Mage. Shouts to Train. For Anti-Mage really as well. I think Visage actually as well is going to help protect PA's path to the sun, so to speak. Actually, also going to be a big deal for the Sanking here as well. I think that the more you really look at it, I feel like the better the Visage pick kind of gets. Though, once again, you know, later on, Anti-Mage is going to obliterate him, though that's not too surprising.
Yes.
Anti-Mage obliterates pretty much every support, though, more than even usual. Actually missed a kill on Wizard watching this. There might be a kill down there on the Sand King, but the Phoenix really just in time knocks it out. Saw it super low. Anti-Mage actually looking to capitalize here.
Yeah. Sold
Knocks out
up.
the Sav. And I
Yeah.
actually want to do anything more. Visage uses a Clarity. Thought he had another one. Actually missed a kill at mid too. They're just going right down. Everything is going a little crazy here.
Dire's middle
London.
tower is under attack.
Getting harassed by the Visage here.
Gotham gonna take up the EXP, although Winter is not available to. He's gonna take a poke for it.
Structures are fortified.
It's a big poke. Definitely, this Gravekeeper's cloak can come in a lot of handy. Uh-oh.
Is under attack.
Okay, good torrent.
Good response as well.
Uh,
Where is the urn, dude? Use the urn on him. That's messed up,
Only
I
he
think,
does.
Yeah, I think that actually would do it. He had,
it's 200 damage. He had a little over 200 HP.
yeah, with Regen, I think it would have had over 200. But it's a bit sad.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm going to be showing my age as a caster here because I'm asking this question, but does that change they made a while back where DD also spell amps still apply?
No, pretty sure it
Very
doesn't.
sad. Yeah, getting bullied pretty hard here by the old Sand King.
Yeah.
Notably, Sand King actually second place for last hit, so has not really been hindering PA very much in the process. No surprise there. PA just does not fail to lane basically, no matter what you do to her, unless she dies like a million times, and she shouldn't be. Even if PA is losing lane, she can still easily last it through it basically. Kind of like Sniper in that way, actually. Another kill on the winner
Oh.
here. Boat and the
I casually dropped the entire boat on her head. She does? Yep. Easy kill.
no rotation there, which is very interesting.
On me alone it blew.
So Jakiro did not actually have enough mana to do much about it, and Timber was a little busy dying.
Yeah.
Oh, Visage
Dying to
doesn't
that
have a
Melodic
TP,
Courtesan.
okay. That would explain it, yep. And now we wait.
Even if he did, it's on cooldown.
Gotham sponsored once again by tacos.
Wow.
Maybe we should get a very broad and vague sponsor like that.
Yeah.
No,
Sponsored by Air.
this cast brought to you by Carbon. Carbon.
Yeah.
It's what's for life.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Phoenix kind of sitting here. Wonder what he's waiting for. He's probably expecting PA to show up under the tower instead of right next to him.
Yeah.
Radiant's
Anti-Mage's courier.
killed.
Oh,
Anti-Mage
no.
actually one of the bigger deals for his courier to die. Though at this point, once again, still not really gonna mean too much.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually gonna affect his battle for your tummy.
Unfortunately for the NWA, they have really one of the worst possible off lanes to present to an anti-mage here. Visage is good in that
Dire's middle
anti-mage
tower
isn't really
is
able
under
to personally deal with them very well, but unfortunately,
Oh,
unfortunately, both supports just eating it there. It's a little hard to tell what happened there.
no.
Fortunately, the Witch Doctor, pretty decent at dealing with the Visage, at least keeping Visage at bay. Timbersaw really has nothing to do with this lane. He can kill Witch Doctor when he's ulting, that's really it. Never gonna get a kill on anti-mage. Can't even really affect his farm, and you can see here, very low. Very low on the last hit so far. About half of anti-mage, who is the core right above him.
Yeah.
He has been doing well, at least, in making sure anti-mage doesn't farm up that well, though notably, he's still not that far behind PA. It's not that far behind PA, and also he has several kills here. Page is actually getting knocked out up top. This is a very, very difficult game to keep much track of, to be honest with you. Feels like it all happened so suddenly, you know? I know London likes it when we get all the kills, so very sad day to
true.
be him.
He's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Has fallen.
He's gonna DM me.
Never gonna request his game to be done again.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Windrunner with a DD here. Anti-Mage actually hitting the counterspell a little early, though. Nothing comes out of it.
Yep.
Wizard
Witch
just going to
Doctor's just gonna melt.
completely get eaten here.
Tank the gank.
Jakiro also having shown up, actually, by this
Dire's
point.
top tower is under attack.
Anti-Mage sticking around, not really afraid of anything the NWA can do to him. Jakiro,
Necessarily would be either.
looking for a high five with Jakiro here.
Shakiro says no.
Jakiro leaving Anti-Mage hanging. Well, if you're gonna do that, you better win. That's all I'm saying.
Do not break bread with the enemy.
Yeah. If you're gonna turn down his high five, then you better.
Oh
at
my
least
God.
have a game plan. This Timbersaw is oh, they barely missed out on him there. Timbersaw is a little screwed here.
He has a hood.
True.
There's that.
Got rid of a lot of that maledict. Sun actually went off though. It was way over here. Didn't accomplish anything.
Rather dead if he doesn't have that. But he's dead anyway.
Yep.
So.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Down he goes.
Oh god.
Peaches just
It's a lot of pain.
falling right in. Though at the very least,
Radiant's bottom
the
tower is under
NWA gets Witch Doctor down here, one way or another. I would assume probably Visage Lings here did it. The old familiars, as the more familiar parlay would put it.
Yeah.
The infused raindrops is pretty smart. Just means that Anti-Mage's first mana void is not going to be able to be on him.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Phoenix actually has raindrops of his own. Looks like raindrops are very popular today. There was a discussion we had in the server talking about a hypothetical matchup, and one of the lines I said during it was, "Where are his raindrops?" So I said it in a slightly cruder language than that.
Wow.
So I'm glad to see people are retroactively listening to that. Can definitely save your life, especially if you're the early game team. Like, if you're the early game team, you absolutely have a lot more stake in getting the raindrops. Because you don't have a future to mortgage off anyway by doing it, right? It doesn't really matter to you if you get up a little slower, if you're going to be up first anyway. It's like two different team fights happening at the exact same time. The NWA diving for kills here at bot. Phoenix getting really hassled for his trouble, actually going down. Sand King still here. Witch Doctor TPing in.
As I was saying, remember when raindrops built in urn? Those fun times.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the triangle, while that was happening, we had a run over of both the Windrunner and the Jakiro there. Which is not great. Losing a Windrunner at a time like this is not super ideal. One of them went down to Kunkka as well, which is a little less ideal, in fact. I believe Anti-Mage got A's on both of those. Net worth chart
boy.
is showing pretty well in
That's
favor.
looking rather pro GG's there.
Yeah. Got a 4K net worth advantage, which isn't an insurmountable climb, though is not what you especially want to see as an earlier focus team. Sand King, pretty hassled here. Got a dust out.
Oh, his Appy got canceled. That's
Yep, his Epi got canceled. I don't think it was going to do anything anyway. Yeah.
okay.
Does get Jakiro,
Yeah, kill Jakiro for it.
which is good.
And take what you can before you die.
London showing up here. Dropping everything on the timber saw. Doesn't get that much done because of the hood. Though,
Yeah.
timber saw sticks. Something very bad could come of this. He's like sort of presenting a fight to Kunkka here, but I don't think this is a check he really can catch. Though with more friends, perhaps it's more of an opportunity there.
Oh,
Witch
God.
Doctor ult, but just getting immediately canceled. Something happening, couldn't get the Visage though, for much.
Timber
Visage is ultimately going to melt
weirdly
to the
tanky,
No, Timber
It's
is
not
never
weirdly
weirdly
so much.
tanky, yeah.
but like more
I
than
guess
I would
for his
expect
item
given his
complement.
lane. Yeah.
He did go all in on reactive, he maxed it way first, so. He also has a bracer and a hood there, against a team that is very largely magic damage.
Yep.
There's a lot to say. Going for the health instead of the mana regen here, which
And a
isn't
pile
bad.
of dust. Very aware of that sinking.
Yep. I will say, if it were me, if I was a Timber in this game, right? I think I would be, I think I would actually be skipping out on it for the mana regen here, both to try and help deal with Anti-Mage a little bit better, and to really focus more on that early game. It is always good to be tanky as a tank, don't get me wrong, but you usually want the health trade if you're thinking long game, and this is not the time to be thinking long game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom
No, 90
tower
mana
is
per
falling.
minute, which is what that really means. Doesn't sound like all that much. But I promise you, when you have such a high cost,
Oh boy, they're just gonna go.
yeah, PA going to get jumped up here. The Windrunner attempts to respond to save, but just gets punished for it by the
Oh, yeah.
Kunkka. X is right into death there. Dragon scale up for the Dire, that's real nasty.
Is under attack.
Another shawl up for the Radiant. That's a Radiant on the with the Dragon Skill as well, actually.
Yeah.
That's less nasty, considerably.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, theoretically, you could take the Nether Shawl if you wanted to die really quickly in this game.
That's true. You could.
I mean, it would be theoretically alright early on, because a lot of the early game damage is going to come from, like, the Timber Saw, for example, but Kiro getting completely annihilated in the triangle here by everybody in the world. Just shows up to Hall of Pain. PA going for a sort of conventional build here, just starting straight out from the Battle Fury. Looking to get that farm up as fast as possible, which sounds like a more long game option, but here, funnily enough, it's actually going to be more early game. It would actually be the later call to not get Battle Fury here, which sounds kind of funny, and sounds kind of sad. But, being able to getting that is going to trade just a little bit of your early game fighting power for the ability to come up faster.
But
London
I wonder
really
he's
hard.
getting a little rest.
Yep. Unfortunately, that X was on London rather than
Yeah.
anybody was looking at. He was trying to do the funny
Yeah.
Kunkka like Divine Rapier X thing with the double damage, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Classic.
I feel like he wasn't in that much danger anyway, and he ended up kind of wasting his DD over it. Are gonna smoke in. 3 smoke.
Certainly are there looking real hard for something.
Is under attack.
For Unfortunately, they are looking at Timber, who's not who they want to find right now. Well, their smoke is popped. Smoke is ultimately a wash as a result. Just kind of walk away. Looking in the jungle here, trying to find, I assume, PA, though. It's definitely going to be just pretty much ignored here. Actually,
Yep.
I think the Dire have smelled what's going on, maybe? If they have, they don't really care to do anything about it. They're just going to knock out this T1 here. This is not a bad idea. If you're the early game team and you're down early game, what you want to focus on is definitely the objectives. Force them to panic, force them to try and split up, force them to take fights they don't want to take, you know. Force them to play a lesser game. And, gives you a lot of space, gives you some time to do something about it. Gives you some time to kill Phoenix's courier. I don't know how
I like
that
the play by Wizard to put his Shadow Amulet in his backpack just to make sure you know that he's not griefing in this game.
happened.
Radiant are scanning.
It's a big moral support thing.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I do like the Timbersaw Visage combo here, always trying to be the ones initiating.
Oh boy.
Visage just
I think
barely
the
not
sun's
gonna be
actually
able to get
gonna
the
pop.
sun, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he's actually
Dive
out
out.
for it, though nothing really comes of it
Ooh,
aside from
okay,
just
good ice death.
second longest stun. And the Phoenix goes down. It's very sad. Very sad fact of life for Phoenix there. Even if the sun does go off, it really just I mean, it needs a lot to accomplish much, and if a lot is present to make it accomplish much, well, the sun's not going to go off. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't trade for the poor guy.
Gold from my chest.
Timbersaw trying to hook a creep there, but unfortunately he's not
Ugh.
clockwork.
Or Pudge.
Or Pudge, yeah. But you know, I don't think you would be... Well, I mean, I guess they're kind of vaguely the same shape. They're both round. They're both round guys. Unless if you have this Timbersaw skin. I don't know what those things on his shoulders and all that are supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be CDs, but they just look more like I don't know, tires to me. Could be speakers as well, I guess. Might be. Peaches is gonna take a trip to Davy Jones' locker, getting absolutely melted. Though Phoenix goes down in response. We're still getting hassled here by Maledict,
Okay,
this might
good
be
burrow.
big. Oh, barely stopped the epi there. Blunted barely actually missing out on the Torrent on the Windrunner there. Anti-Mage is here. Anti-Mage can't hit her at all. We're trying very hard here. They're out of
I
CC
believe.
for the most part. Though X is here.
Yeah.
X is up and she is gone. Basically no matter what happens. Anti-Mage high-fives the tower.
I like the body blocking there. Very good.
Yep. Ultimately probably not necessary in this case, so it's definitely a good thing to be conscious of and thinking about. At the very least, that was quite bad for the Dire, as you can see there. Though, at the very least, the most important factor is PA didn't die for it. Though, the fact that PA didn't die for it is going to mean very little if PA does not start appearing in these fights personally very soon. And having a noticeable effect, basically.
Top tower is under attack.
With that BKB, and the BKB is good, she's going to have to fight with BKB. She's not going to be able to save for basically anything else at this point. She's not going to be able to faff around. She's not going to be able to do the enemy jungle. She's going to need to fight. She's going to need to fight, and she's going to need to win. Phoenix is dead.
Let's eat this Phoenix here.
Just completely
There's
destroyed
that.
in the scale of one familiar stun. This Visage, man, this Visage has definitely taken a toll
Is under attack.
on this enemy team. I would say really the reason that this game is still sort of competitive to some degree and not just a total stomp out right now is just how well Gotham's been playing this Visage so far.
Yep.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
T2 top just getting completely annihilated here. I like how the chakra makes a funny noise with this skin, though it's still like a regular chakra noise.
Yeah.
Radiant
Dire assuming Radiant are in Roche if they're not in the jungle. Answer is no, they're just in Triangle.
Bounty.
Seems like it's very rare in this tournament in general for people to assume that the enemy team is in the enemy triangle, though it seems like almost the majority of the time that's like the case. Give everybody listening a pro tip here. If you're in this tournament, if you don't know where the enemy team is and you don't really have a good clue as to where they might be, they're probably in the triangle.
They have a clue where Dig is.
Is under
Yep.
attack.
Windrunner getting spotted out here by Smoke Gank and next.
Oh, he's X.
Here comes the boat. And with that Maledict, it is very hard to see her surviving. Yep. Goodbye, Ditch. Manifest Destiny checking in to see if he can do anything about this, but, you know, a PA alone is of no value in this scenario, unfortunately. Trying to get
Kunkka
a
against
quick death
Winter is
setup.
such a nasty matchup.
Yeah, Windrunner really can't do much to him, which is unfortunate because, on the other hand, Windrunner versus Anti-Mage is a pretty good matchup for a while at least. Kunkka and Anti-Mage really cover for each other's weaknesses fairly well in that regard, at least in this
Yeah.
specific game.
Try to have a bit of a go on London here.
Yeah,
Although,
but
oh god, the
Sand King coming
counterplay.
in with the Sand King coming in with that Epicenter really ruins that response. Phoenix just barely getting killed in the sun there as Visage goes down to follow. Timbersaw quite alone here. Oh, Manifest Destiny actually knocked out on the side here. Timbersaw knocking out the Sand King in his retreat. It is so much of an investment to try and kill this guy, though eventually he does go down.
Is under attack.
That's
yeah.
smarts. That's smarts. In a series, the Dire just lost 4, the only real survivor of the jump plus the small team fight to follow being Jakiro, for none of the Radiant's
Dire's middle
cores.
tower is under attack.
For an early game focused team, that really
Dire's
smarts.
middle tower has fallen.
That Doomsday clock is really starting to almost overwhelmingly tick at this point. The every tick and every talk is starting to get really overbearing in the light of this Anti-Mage, who's starting to pull quite an impressive amount of money here. It really just kind of comes down to this. Anti-Mage needs to die in the next 4 minutes, or there is not any realistic hope, I don't think, for survival here. Anti-Mage actually picking up a Lincoln's here.
Yeah.
I can't, honestly. I mean, he's getting that Lincoln's for the Windrunner ult, but
Yeah.
it's going to be, I feel like, a pretty rare actual opportunity for that to happen. You know, for that to be the thing that pops it. I guess, though, that is incumbent on the Dire noticing he has the Lincolns and being able to act on it. You know, PA has to turn around and throw the dagger to get rid of it. If she can't throw the dagger, no popping the Lincolns. Jakiro has to get the Liquid Fire. I think Liquid Fire still pops. Pretty certain it does.
I don't think it does.
Don't think it does? Ah, never mind then. In that case, it is going to be a bit harder. Somebody just get an Eternal Shroud? That's a pretty rare one. Is that Timber?
Yep.
Shroud here is going to mean that the Sand King and Phoenix Ult are going to be doing more to the lineup, though I can sort of see it in this case because, well, you're going to need that mana regen. You are more valuable.
Dire
It is more
are
valuable
scanning.
you have the mana regen and you yourself can survive a little longer in these fights than I feel like the AoE would do in this specific case.
I'm gonna look
Though I
at Roche
myself would
here.
probably just go fight.
Oh. Timber will make it annoying.
Yep. Annoying, but not ultimately
Not
that much
annoying
of an
enough,
issue.
it seems.
Likely is going to die of the Maledict here. Though the Shroud is going to make it rather difficult. Everybody just completely ignoring poor Phoenix. Though maybe
might have
this
been a bad
time
idea.
that was not the play.
Oh,
As
God.
NWA continues falling. Both of the main cores going down here. As far as the core side of the affairs go, only Timbersaw remains, and so man, he's able to do a lot with the time he has left, but not quite enough. Godlike
Yeah, he'll go down.
to Gotham. Now it's
Alright.
Gothlike. Captain
Yeah.
assassinates Captain. It is a bit unfortunate that went to a pause 4, though he was the highest priority person living at the time.
This is true.
Still, you know, ultimately you can see that actually was in the Dire's favor, though not that much, and notably, you know, if you recall, as I said, you know, Anti-Mage, he's got 4 minutes to die, or the, that avenue is pretty much going to close, and, 4 minutes is coming up real soon. He's got a basher coming in. Yeah, he can bash through that BKB now, and he's got a Mindbreaker as well.
Yep.
Can bash right through the BKB. It's going to make things very difficult for the Dire. Going right for the Abyssal Blade as well, just to make him harder to kill, just to make it easier for him to kill the other guys. It's starting to look insurmountable, especially in the light of the fact that it feels like every advantage, every time the Dire are able to get an advantage of some sort, it comes at the cost of both Windrunner and PA.
Yeah.
Feels like, though Timbersaw is, as expected, as predicted, doing very well in these early fights, he really can't, you know, his cores are just dying instantly. The BKBs are really not enough, and that not enough scale is continuing. Though at this point, it's sort of hard to say that there's much you can do to prevent the oncoming damage. Gonka just going farther and farther into right click here. Actually has a Satanic queued up in his inventory there. Bit of a down
He
period.
already
here.
feels a lot of pain, so.
Got two different smokes going on. Dire looking at Roche once again. Radiant looking at the enemy triangle. Only barely finding the enemy lineup.
Okay.
Sand King spots out the smoke here.
Yep.
Dire's turning, or Radiant's turning right around to face where the Dire are. Kunkka getting solo Windrunner ulted. Oh man, she can't do anything to him. She's got like no right click power at all.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a mistake, I gotta be honest with you. I think that's a bit of a mistake. Phoenix actually doesn't matter at all. Well, it does stun out Gotham, because everybody's already dead by the time it pops. Phoenix himself actually going to very casually die. Maybe he should have saved that stun a little bit. London actually going down as well. PA getting the crit she kind of needs against him here. Oh man, she's taking a lot to do it, and Anti-Mage is here now.
Oh,
But
yeah,
Anti-Mage can't really hit her.
Oh my god!
He's dead!
That is filthy.
Rolls a lot of good bashes there. Not a lot of good bashes. TA rolls a lot of good crits there. That's harsh. That is very harsh. And while it did miss the sort of cutoff, I didn't really predict Anti-Mage was going to be killable at this point. So certainly in that light, I think that that puts us back into the realm of possibility for the NWA. Certainly.
Yeah.
Certain things need to absolutely change. Like for example, this Windrunner, like AoE, almost pause 4-ish sort of build, this is not going to work for you at all. I can promise you that much. Lincoln's is not going to help. You really need to get more whip damage on Windrunner. You're just going to have to accept her role here, you know. I understand, you know, there's sometimes when the idea is you want to build to try and overcome a hero's weaknesses, right? There are times when you want to build to make sure that, you know, Windrunner is saying, oh, I'm getting stunned a lot. I'm not going to get much done in these fights outside of just ulting one guy if I keep getting, you know, comboed out by, you know, Witch Doctor, the Sand King, or what have you. So I'm going to go all in on sort of defensive items to make sure I can at least get my ult out, but in this case, I can't really agree. That's quite the play here. We saw in the last fight, even though they actually won it, it was, you know, more for her shackles and power shot as far as the Windrunner involvement here goes. If it were me, you know, I'm not playing here. But if it were me, I think I would definitely be just accepting, okay, I'm going to be dying early in every fight. I've been dying early in every fight. I don't think this is going to change it. I certainly wouldn't agree Lincoln's would be the item to change it, if anything. So, I'm just going to go all in. I'm just going to pick up a Javelin, go right for the MKB, just try to make myself as hard to kill as possible. Not hard to kill, as easy to murder with as possible, rather.
Yeah.
Just to make absolute sure that I get something done at least before I invariably go down.
Bit of an incursion coming here.
Yeah, they can't decide whether they want to go in on Gotham or not. It's hard to say. You know, it seems like they are kind of thinking, oh, he must be backed up, and he was ultimately backed up. Though it took a long time for that backup to get there. Interestingly enough, the GGs, I think, maybe almost a bit of a morale bust in that last fight, no longer really want to engage. They're very noticeably backing off here. The Phoenix getting sort of bullied out by the Timber Saw here. London putting some pressure on the T3s here. While Phoenix just jumped under his tower. It's completely annihilated.
Alright, base race.
Yeah, baby, here we go. Looks like the Radiant are definitely expecting a response at any moment, though. It's never going to be coming. NWA are all in on this push bot here.
Yeah.
I like the Lotus Orb on one of the familiars.
That's pretty good.
Slash caught here. Sentry Ward just eats a million tower shots. London looking again for that sort of big damage shot, but really doesn't actually get anybody here. And Dyer says, okay, enough of this. Just goes home. They're definitely looking to bait an engagement there. They just did not get what they wanted to see.
Yeah.
Timber have Cloak of Flames, he does. That's very good for Timber.
Both teams just kind of skirting around each other.
I will say, the skirting each other thing is definitely going to be working in GG's favor here. You know, Anti-Mage is... you know, from the last few fights, he fell from being way over PA to being sort of on the same level as PA, more or less. Especially in light of taking that death there. Any kill on Anti-Mage is always pretty big. So to that end, he is going to have to rebuild, though they are giving the GGs plenty of time to rebuild by not really taking a fight with him at all. Kanka, for example, just casually picking up an axe there, which is going to make him very difficult to deal with. We want to talk about something that is going to be able to point guard for that Sun, the Kanka Axe ability. Very, very good at it, very good with it as well. Though, again, you know, BKB and just pop it. So you can at any
Thinking
point.
about something here.
Dyer's smoking in. The Radiant definitely...
London makes a call to retreat.
Yep, pull back to the turtling positions. The moment he smells trouble, he just gets the hell out of there. They absolutely refuse to fight anywhere but under those T3s. Again, they absolutely have the advantage in choosing their fight to do so, basically.
Yep.
Doesn't matter they're turtling if you win long anyway. It has to be a very extreme turtle to... Oh, we have found the Anti-Mage here.
You
So
don't
that,
necessarily have the lockdown
yeah.
you need. So, Lincoln Sphere is
He is
for
blinking.
Atos. I think we can pretty much
Perhaps,
say
yeah.
at this point.
At the very least, if it wasn't originally for Atos, it certainly is now. Everybody's kind of running to Visage here. He's a little out of way and is about to go down, I think, pretty easily. Though we do have the Windrunner Shred's gonna kind of make that a bit harder. Everybody ignores the Phoenix
boy.
Sun.
It's a big mana void.
Yeah, I can tell you this much. The decision to not only ignore
He's dead.
Ignore the, yep, died 2 times in a row, now is going to buy back. The decision to not only ignore the sun, but to jump in and fight as close to it as possible there, I cannot condone. I cannot agree with that that sequence from the NWA here. Doing something like that is exactly what Phoenix wants you to do in this sort of scenario. I think maybe the idea that Phoenix has written off perhaps got into their psyche a little too deep, like, oh, Phoenix can't do anything in this game, so why even bother trying to do something about him, right? Well, you know, easily countered does not itself mean countered, you know what I mean?
Silver Edge is rather deadly in this game, actually, on that Kunkka. Pretty,
Yep.
pretty big, you know, against the PA, against the Timber Saw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Timber Saw
even,
really shatters
like
without his,
Visage.
Timber Saw shatters without his passive, Visage, Timbers without the passive. I don't believe it's, formally a passive anymore.
That's because he got a Scepter. Or Shard, actually, not Scepter.
Yeah. I don't know if that gets, it is still marked as a passive, so who knows. Weird interaction, I have to look it up after the old match here. VA going right back in on the Kunkka here, just using BKB to ignore everything in the world. Kunkka getting every little bit put on his head, but man, he's so tanky. Windrunner just going down on the wayside. PA follows, that's the dieback for PA. Windrunner coming right back in, still actually has the ult up, but actually has to run, just retreat as fast as possible.
Can't get anywhere near Anti-Mage.
Did she just, I think she just focus fired herself. Doesn't matter though, I don't think Anti-Mage realized it quite in time. Phoenix Sun coming up, but it's about 1 trillion miles away from anything at this point, sadly. Let's give him a second life, which is always convenient. And the GG's without Kunkka, just kind of want to back up here. I feel like that's putting a little too much weight and too much stake on the Kunkka here, to be honest with you. You know, you can knock Timber Saw out by having Anti-Mage beat him up a couple of seconds, and nobody else really has much to do about you at this point. You can definitely fight without the Kunkka here, I think. They just don't really want to do that. Well, Anti-Mage is actually about to test my theory here.
Yeah.
But while you can't fight without the Kunkka, you certainly can't fight alone either, and his team did not want to help him on this venture, they just wanted to split back off.
Are you okay?
That's fine. Just pokes him and
Yeah.
runs away.
Did not end up taking any consequences for it at the very least. That is gonna waste a solid, 40 seconds of his time here. Timbersaw finished up a BKB here. It's gonna be pretty big on him. I will say, if I was gonna go right for BKB this game like this, I don't know if I would have gone for the magic resist at all. The mana regen from it is good, but
I'll take your
yeah, there's better sources of that, you know? I found the Kunkka here. Putting a lot on his head. Phoenix attempting to save with the Sunray. Looks like it's being pretty successful so far. Anti-Mage TPing in. Got the coconut out. Almost certainly going to get a Visage kill here. Though Visage is going to waste as much time as humanly possible in the process. Yeah, really, well, actually, no Visage at all, because, oh man, well, if you chase 2 rabbits, you'll lose them both. Nobody could decide exactly what to do over the course of that fight, and as a result, Anti-Mage actually goes down chasing the core as well as team's busy beating up Visage.
Yep.
Alright, goodbye to Phoenix. TP'd out while Sunrang. I'll say this, it feels like there's almost sort of a communication disconnect in exactly what the GGs want to do at this point. Feels like Anti-Mage wants to do something a little different than anybody else really wants to do right now. Everybody's following the captain at the moment. Can't be doing that sort of thing. For sure. I think the NWA have done a good job actually realizing that and capitalizing on it. It is certainly always an interesting thing going against the NWA, because I think somebody on the NWA, likely Gotham himself, has a very keen sort of idea on the mental side of Dota. Very good ability to spot sort of when there's a bit of a mental weakness and take advantage of it. Though the downside to that is that I feel like, on the other hand, they do kind of leave themselves in a bad position with that as well sometimes.
Clear as clean water.
Still, at the very least, at a time like that, I think there was a clear understanding, okay, Anti-Mage is playing a little bit of a different game. Let's give Visage to waste everybody's time, because we know what he's going to do in a fight, and capitalize on it. And they absolutely did. They went all over him that fight. You know, at least they got the Visage in the end.
Yeah.
A very good play call there.
That.
Very good play call there. That time, I believe, was earned PA Satanic. Which means that right now, she's really about as good as she's ever going to be. I mean, she can finish out a Abyssal. That is more, but it's basically her 6th item. Anti-Mage actually looking to pick up a Scotty here, likely going to replace his Lincolns. Is everybody about to smoke on a Visage? Okay, good.
They notice that it doesn't break.
Yeah, I just thought everybody was just gonna beat it up for no reason. PA, actually.
Oh, they saw that.
Maybe bait, though? 'Cause she ran right through everybody else on our team, just waiting. Smoking themselves, actually, looking to stake out. They're looking to make something here. London actually, rather alone up there right now. Actually went for a refresher rather than going Satanic, ultimately. Dire smoke, but they don't actually want to fight.
Yep.
It's very interesting there.
Oh, that's a bit cheeky.
They didn't want to actually engage. They just wanted to see if they would engage on just like one visible person, perhaps. That's not so good. I feel like teams are not really want to do that. If they were going to do that, they would have done it on PA, right?
Yeah.
They're going to take the time, though, to start pushing out the mid here. They're going to force the Radiant to back, just completely TP out at this point. This is a bit of a positioning screw for them. Radiant don't seem to really want to do that, though. They're actually more than willing to just wait here and just snipe anybody running back. Gotham being the first to just get completely shattered.
They just run him down.
Dish in a bit of trouble here. By this point, the Anti-Mage does have an MKB, and sure proves its worth as Windrunner just melts instantly.
Purified.
I believe that's a dieback.
Radiant's middle tower
GG's now looking at Roche. Yep, just gonna very casually eat him up here. Gonna drop a shard. To be honest with you, I think I'd take that for the Anti-Mage. You could see it on the Kunkka, the Sanking already has his Gerard. Could see it on the Phoenix, but I definitely feel like it would be most beneficial for Anti-Mage here. Just nullify some of what they do, more or less completely, and it seems that the GGs concur, as Anti-Mage is indeed picking it up.
Yep, there you go.
Now we're looking at a T3 potentially. We do have a minute left before the Windrunner comes up. Kiro just getting completely knocked out here. Does have buyback. We'll likely be using that very soon.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Anti-Mage just completely trashing this tower here.
Dire's middle tower.
Timbersaw actually holding out here to try and mess with the equilibrium a bit, but unfortunately for him, though, this is not exactly the time to be doing that, as they cannot push out without him, really.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
The counter spell.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Trying to go for T4 for just a moment, but pulling back instead to work on some more racks. I will say this is slip sliding away for the NWA here. You know, If you're an early game team, you're more sort of beheld to the tradition of sort of first racks deciding it than most are, and you've lost a set of racks. You're about to lose a second lane worth of them. This is starting
Yep.
to go very, very, very south for them. Let's see what the experts at Dota HQ say. 10% chance. Yeah, that's not
Thanks,
actually
Gabe.
not actually that outlandish of a prediction. I don't think. I would say that would be me at this point as well. Timber Thought is clearing out the way, but Anti-Mage can actually knock out this Rax here before the next set of creeps comes in. They're gonna go all in on the guy actually. Windrunner ulting for him while he's stunned. Feels like he's stunned for about an hour. Phoenix using the ult really well here to try and cover for his exit. PA comes in on the back line, but she runs right into the worst imaginable spot, going down again, buying back. Kunkka in amount of trouble. Timbersaw actually trying to pull out of this fight, though not successful in that endeavor. Phoenix TPs, and that's a ball game for them.
Actually defend the melee Rex there.
Yep.
Alright. It's a bloody defense if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Having that buyback on PA is, well, let's just say it like this. There's sometimes I use the phrase last life. This is it for PA. If she dies again without buyback, it's completely curtains for the Dire. It's hard to see much of a reasonable path for them even at this point. They smoke,
Oh, they're
but
gonna
man,
choose
the
this,
smoke gets super caught.
No!
PA losing 100% of her health. Yeah, that's it. PA is completely out of it. Windrunner has the buy. He's dead too. There goes Jakiro.
Boy,
That's
that reaction speed on the sinking, huh?
yeah, that was a great epi. That was an epi you would expect of a season winner right there. Timbersaw just out of it.
That's
Timbersaw himself calls the GG in the captain's place as 5 go down, and that is the ball game here.
Radiant victory.
All right, another very strong showing from the GGs here. You know, it's funny because it's like I said, you know, if the team is able to stay together, if we do not actually lose Old London in the rest of this season, then these guys have a very good chance to take this crown, I think.
Yep. It's a good team. It's a very good team.
Here's my thoughts on this. I feel like, the NWA here made a mistake. I think they perhaps overestimated to the point with which PA was going to be able to carry the lineup. I think they overestimated just how far PA was going to scale out here. And I think they basically said, okay, she's going to go as far as Anti-Mage, right? She's going to be able to go as far as Anti-Mage. And that kind of ended up dominating the mindset for the NWA, but it just isn't true. Unfortunately, for them, it's just not really the case. There was a point where she reached her apex and was able to do some pretty astounding things. I mean, 11-7-3 in a match that was fairly lopsided for the most part ain't nothing to sneeze at. But kind of the problem is it took a lot, and I mean a lot of blood to make that dream come true. In particular, poor Windrunner ended up 1-10. 14 A's, don't get me wrong, but 1-10 for Windrunner, who should be getting like 1,000,000 kills. That's not terribly great. 1-10 for Windrunner, who I feel like was picked very well this game as well. Did not ultimately actually go for that Lincolns, it seems, or at least didn't have the money for it in the end.
Yep.
I think the word of the day for Windrunner here was the itemization. The itemization on the Windrunner just unfortunately was not good. You know, there's just no two ways to say it. Was not good. It would have been alright if they were going a super long game. If they really did genuinely think that PA was going to carry to the degree of Anti-Mage, then that certainly is a sensible build. Ocelot always stands by the idea that even if you're the supportiest support Windrunner in the world, you should get a Javelin as soon as possible, because that basically is the lower limit on the items to sort of get a kill with your ult.
She has a Javelin. It's in the Maelstrom.
And she does have a Javelin, and that's pretty good. So she did have a very strong start, but she just needed a little more than this. A Maelstrom alone was just not the solution. Just wasn't enough. Seemed like every team fight you saw Windrunner ult somebody, And depending on who it was, you know, if it was Witch Doctor, could get the kill on him easily, at least until he got the Aeon disc. But what does that really solve? You know, can deal with the Sand King if he chooses not to respond, or Phoenix if he chooses not to respond, but really can't do anything, you know. Ults Kunkka and gets like a quarter of his health off or something, you know? That's just not the place Windrunner wants to be in, especially in a situation like this. And like I said, she probably was going to have a dramatically even, potentially, more deaths than kills in this game anyway, no matter what she did. But the important thing would be, at the very least, making sure she was in the position that there was going to be a drop there, and that just didn't happen this game, unfortunately. Besides that, I do feel like there were some flaws in the Timber build as well. Like I did say during the game as well. I didn't sort of elaborate on those, but just to go in here. I have said before, moderation is not a bad thing, but when I say that, I mean moderation is not a bad thing if the moderation you're going for is team stuff. If it's not team stuff, then yeah, it's probably not worth the full investment. Like if you're already still dying, if you're still mortal after the Eternal Shroud, then BKB is not going to solve that issue, to be honest with you. I don't know if he actually... I'm sure that's just a... Yeah, that's just a bug. Okay, I was going to say, I don't know if he used it. It has not shown up that he did, but that seems to be the case for everybody if you're looking at a replay. I think, funnily enough, I feel like in this game, Timbersaw actually had a perfect excuse to go more balls to the wall, rather than going with a, rather than trying to focus around being as tanky as absolutely possible, though that certainly did go well for him. I feel like this would have been a really good opportunity to put up a build like, you Veil into Sanj and Kaya into an Octarine core or something like that. Go full damage, because outside of the BKBs, nobody on the GG's ever really bought anything to deal with magic damage. I mean, you got the Glimmer Cape, but that's like a second. You got Anti-Mage, but like, when all he's got is just the passive doesn't do that much. It's good, but it's not that good, Aside of that, they're very magic damage vulnerable, and a lot of their guys like Sand King were going to stay in relatively predictable spots. So, I feel like, ironically, usually, this is the part where I would be saying, I should have gone for something like a pipe. I actually feel like in this game it would have been better to just go the other way, rely on the tankiness you had sort of built into you, especially if you're going to go for the 200 health trait, right, for more tanky traits, and lean into doing more sort of just direct damage, lean into doing more sort of, just going crazy, having a blast. And the Scythe of Ice, sort of almost it would have been the piece de resistance for that sort of build, but for this, not so much. If you didn't want to go tanky, definitely needed a Shivas, I think. Absolutely would have needed a Shivas here. Because, that was a big thing they were dealing with even early on. Kunkka actually has very few recourses to dealing with Shiva's Guard, outside of just popping BKB for that alone, and if he doesn't have BKB up, well, then he's not doing anything at that moment, basically. Shiva's Guard really screws the guy, because he's already attacking pretty slow. For a hero like Kunkka, he already attacks real slow. Get that Shiva's up, and he's attacking like once a year. He's just not going to be able to get much damage out that way, even if he crits every time. Anti-Mage, of course, never ever wants to see never ever wants to see a Shivas, because he doesn't like building BKB, and he is very attack speed dependent. So you get that Shivas active on him, and he really just put a big nail on him that fight. I think he kind of tried to have a little of both here, and I don't think that usually tends to work out that well for Timbersaw, as seen in this case. But ultimately, I feel like that's just another sort of symptom of the whole issue with Nagaz this game. I just don't feel like they built generally early game enough, and it costs them big time here.
I like how Anti-Mage put his Manta into Sand King's backpack.
Why did he do that? Just give
My
it
gift to you.
Yeah. It is, 'tis the season, right? It was Christmas, about to be anyway, when this game happened, so Alright. Anything more to add to this besides that?
No, that's it.
I will say, though, one thing I will say before we cut out here, though, is I will give some credit. I feel like Gotham played this out really well. I feel like Gotham played this out both as far as the tactical level team calls, right? When to take a fight, when to not. And I feel like personally played it really well, but that strategic layer, you know, the 3 layers thing, right? Strategic, tactical, battle. Battle and tactical was really good, but that strategic layer kind of eluded them here. See if we can get that next time, because that's something I feel like is definitely possible for them to deal with here.